Hey Salesforce users, this is Rajat from Ask Steve, and I want to show you today how we can very quickly capture information into Salesforce from any web page or PDF. And that's by using Ask Steve and its ability to create one-click AI page scrapers that can write directly into Salesforce. And now the objects that we support are leads, cases, events, tasks, and accounts. So let's go try and make a one-click AI page scraper for leads. So the easiest way to do that is actually just to go to the leads list or go to an individual lead, open up the Ask Steve side panel, click on Tools, and click on New. And now it's going to detect that I'm looking at leads, and then it supports leads, and it's going to say, do you want to auto-create a scraper tool for this object? I'll say yes. And then if I haven't already connected my Salesforce account, I need to do a one-time connection to give Ask Steve permission to connect to Salesforce. And then once I've done that, I'll press the New button again, say yes again, and boom, just like that, it's created my one-click AI scraper button. So now let's go use this button. So I'm going to go over here to this page full of speakers in a conference, and I'm going to highlight that row of people, and I'm going to press my button. And what it's doing is extracting that information from the web page, putting it in the right format for Salesforce, and then writing it into Salesforce. And we can see here that we added 4 records. And if we go back to our lead view and refresh, we can see that these 4 people got added. And similarly, I can even just select a paragraph from a newspaper article that I'm reading, hit the button, and it's going to extract all that information and write it into my lead list. There the person is. And then this is super cool. Ask Steve can even read Google Sheets and Excel docs. Well, you have to connect to your accounts for those as well, the same way I did for Salesforce. But once you do, it can access these docs. And then it can do things like it can read all this content that I've been prepping and working on in this Google Sheet and write it all into Salesforce. So let's try it. I'm going to press my Salesforce button. It's going to go get all the data from this Google Sheet. It's reading all the data and putting all the fields correctly. And then if I go here now and refresh, we can see that all those people just got added to Salesforce. It's so fast and no manual copying and pasting. So that's all with leads. And one other thing to notice, let's go look and see how this particular tool is built. So it's called Scrape into Lead. And we can see that it's basically, here's the prompt, which is all in English. And it's saying, hey, I need you to construct, get all this data, whatever data you can find from the page, and look to try to fill in all these different fields. If you can't get a property, don't fill it in. Here's some other data you might need. If there are multiple choice options, it gives the LLM all the various options. And then it says, okay, here are all the fields I need. That gives Ask Steve the data that it needs to write directly into Salesforce. Now, if for some reason it's not figuring out something or not getting something, you can always add your own text in here. You can say, oh, for field X, which is maybe some custom field you have defined, always put in the user's gender or something like that. So you have the ability to just in English customize how the information gets scraped and what fields it gets put into. And then we can see down here under the scrapers and API section exactly how this is working. It's using your Salesforce connection and it's writing to a lead. And you can see that you can also write into these various other things as well. Now, if you do add more custom fields to an object, then you're going to want this prompt updated. And to do so, you just hit the regenerate prompt and it will go refetch the schema for the leads in this case, and then rewrite this prompt. If you have customized it at all, you will want to copy those customizations out beforehand so that you can paste them back in. One other thing I'll show you is that under advanced settings here, you can say whether you always want to append new records or whether you want to skip duplicates. And if you skip duplicates, then you can pick the fields that you want to match on. You can say, I want to match on company, first name, and last name. And now if anybody matches, and save those changes. Now, if anybody matches on those fields, they won't get added. So let's go ahead and try to add, add those 4 that we added earlier, plus 1 extra, and let's see what happens. So now it's going to parse all those people, and then we can see now that it added 1 and skipped 4 because 4 of them were duplicates. And in fact, if we go back to this list that had 15, it should now just have 16. Yeah, we added our 1 more person at the top of the list. So it's that easy to kind of skip duplicates as well. Now, let's just very quickly, we can take a look at like one of the other event types. So here's my calendar. And let's say I want to scrape stuff into the calendar. So what I'll do is just go back up here to the New button and hit New. It's going to detect that I'm on a Salesforce event list, which is what the calendar is, and say yes. And now it's created me a scrape into event button as well. And I can customize these buttons. I can change the background colors. I can change the icons. We just put defaults in so to get you up and running fast. And now what I can do is go to something like this. This is an event happening on May 14th. I can press the button and it will parse all the event data off this web page and put it into a format that I can then, let me reload here my calendar. I can then write directly into Salesforce as an event. So, and the last thing I'll show you is like your connections. If you go down here under scrapers and APIs and right next to the write results too, if you click on the gear icon, this is where you can manage all your connections. You can create new ones. You can see all the different ones we support here. And then you can reconnect, change the name, or delete your connection here as well. If you have any questions, let us know in our user community. Thanks.